Alright, trying to finish this off here. We got the oh, look at this. Oh, sexism in room Morgue. How dare you? Most of the movies are not interesting. Although here on The Devil's Bath, right? Andrea writes about today's political climate with trans and abortion rights still in the battlefield. It's really comforting to be transported back into time and things were somehow, well, way the fuck worse. Right? 18th century Austria, right? You actually have culture and life has meaning. Okay, and no one knows that it's not it's horrible. You know, yes, I like my teeth and I like not dying of a cold. Oh wait, everyone was dying of a cold, weren't? uh, They talk about you can't like CNN and SNL is indistinguishable. That you can't do even I can't even joke anymore because none of it's you make a joke about something, you make something up, and then you realize it happened already. Now you got here now once again too right the brilliance of Robert Eggers right. She's talking about this film. It's a period horror with nature witch vibes from The Witch, right? The film, but none of the good for her catharsis, which is not that what happened, Andrea. You and me, we need to argue this over dinner somewhere. I think, right? The girl, the woman, gives in to the evil because the evil of the women in the woods was real and killed her family, and she joins them. Okay, as in a good metaphor for feminism. Oh, we can imagine at that dinner table. I have a bottle of wine, expensive wine thrown at my head. Well, I paid $100 for the wine. Why? Anyway, just kidding. And this I heard of this film. Okay, and to use a joke that's been used before, there's the only two things I don't like. I don't like people that don't respect cultures, and I don't like Norwegians. Okay. So there's only one Norwegian. Actually, no, there's another person of Norwegian descent I actually like working with, but the other one, I don't think he likes Norway too much either. You know who I'm talking about. But this film, man, just something seems very uninteresting. This, okay, the 2018 documentary miniseries Murder Mountain details some of the deaths and unexplained disappearances that have occurred in and around the cannabis industry of Northern California's Humboldt County. It promises of a shit ton of money for a couple of weeks' work, trimming bud, the Emerald Triangle. Attracts many a soul every year who risk much to work in outlaw territory. So they made like a kind of horror film, I guess, about that area. Well, next time I'm in Pittsburgh, I'm gonna ask my man Rick, Guru Rick. We'll do a video about it because Guru Rick was there. He was there doing that. And this is interesting. This is a kind of like which is kind of cool. This guy getting revenge on fucking pedophile predators. It's a YouTuber who specializes in true crime, which I'm not a fan of. One of my best friends loves true crime, but that's interesting. This seems like an interesting film. It's like a guy, getting revenge on the people that did horrible things to him as a kid. Okay? The hell, these sons of bitches. Right? What the hell? I'm drawing a blank. It's interesting they don't make any snide references to what the hell is that? QAnon. I was trying to remember the name of it. QAnon. They don't mention. We got what a bunch of idiots. Yeah, this too. I'm confused. You know what? I always thought Deadly Eyes was just another name for unknown origin, which I have seen, but I guess I've never seen this. I don't think I guess there's two Canadian. I don't know. I always thought that this was just the name of this with a different name, right? Because they're both Canadian giant rat films, but apparently these are two separate movies. Yeah, Fruit of the Gods. Remember that, man? And it's funny too. The Killer Shrews. I like how the guy here, like he goes, remember the Killer Shrews, right? Remember disguising a bunch of big dogs as giant shrews backfired hilariously. Well, Killer Shrews, man. First of all, Romero must have been influenced by that film and forgot about it to mention it. If you ever watched that, it's very much like Night of the Living Dead. Also, even those little robot assholes in their stupid show, they even said this was a good movie. Right? But apparently, I guess I have to check out this. This is not of unknown origin, so it's definitely a movie. Oh, let me tell you about rats, man. Where I grew up, I swear to God, I saw like a friggin' 4 foot long rat walking through the breakers. If you go to Coney Island, the breakers of the rocks go out. Don't swim past the breakers. If you want to drown, a lot of people did. Oh, but man, some of the rats over there. Oh my God. We were talking about horror. Oh, here we go with horror comics. I see this in the stores. Like it's just, something tells me that this trickster spider is gonna be killing the whitey. I don't know. It's just the same story with the family, the powerful women who only women can use magic. It's very interesting. In terms of you'll have idiots, usually right wing idiots. Okay, I'm getting increasingly mad at that right wing. What is the right wing? Okay? Africa's a matriarchal country. Okay? Dude, every African I met was a real man. Okay, who's a real had very traditional views on things. So what you're seeing is African American stuff here. It's just been very feminized, okay? Which is what we've all been in this country. Oh, a little gender comment. Speaking of, everything is female centric, and a lot of these are guys doing this. So I'm just saying, witches we became the Me Too era, which means to say the burden of proof that means nothing. Of course, a lot of these dudes are now getting off. Right? Interesting. What the hell was this all about? Anyway, you want to talk about the satanic panic. You want to talk about the crucible. We'll talk about the satanic screen. I think it's funny too. I think I call this ex-member of the satanic church. You can't leave. You can't leave. Yeah, just kidding. Oh, the fallen angel sexuality is fluid as its morality. Well, I think his morality is to be evil. Lucifer. And again, he's the knowledge seeker. Oh, don't even start. Come on. And we got this gorgeous, right? More of the a friend of Andrea. They do a podcast, wrote a book. Okay, beauty, the meaning of the witch hag. The witch hag. What is the meaning of that? That is the crone, right? That is a huge archetype. You see it in every culture as well. The cultural obsession with bodily perfection. Let me tell you something. If there's a cultural obsession with bodily perfection, I ain't seen it. I'm at the age I'm at. I've seen decades. I remember how people looked decade by decade. Okay, I'm seeing the opposite. There's people very much not being anywhere near perfect out there. Have you seen people out there? Have you seen women out there anyway? Women's sexuality threatens patriarchal norms. Provide patriarchal norms you just don't have in the West. Horror undermining masculine power. Well, why would you want to? That is a horror to undermine masculine power. When you undermine masculine power, you also undermine feminine power. Not feminist power, but anyway, you can. I don't think this statement with me and Andre, I don't think it's gonna work out. I have a feeling it's not gonna work out. And the virus chasers. It's funny how they sort of tiptoe around the fact that pretty much the virus chasers exist in real life, right? They're gay guys that want to get HIV on purpose for some reason. Having unprotected encounters with sex workers. They mentioned that licking doorknobs. Like I said, they sort of put this in a bigger frame than what it is. I mean, it's essentially what that is, which is totally insane. I've never seen the documentary they made, The Gift, which is about that. That is just the description of it is more horrifying than anything in this magazine. It's anyway. I don't even want to talk about it anymore because it's really disturbing. And this is just Legati. Legati got something new. He wrote a screenplay. So this is a screenplay written by Legati and this other guy that did that weird film Begotten. It was supposed to be directed by the guy that did Begotten, and of course the great Shadow of the Vampire. Yeah, Begotten's a little rough to watch, man. I don't mean aesthetically. I mean it's kind of nasty. But I think this was supposed to be like a film version of the what is it, the one with the worms, with the clowns, the Last Feast of the Harlequin. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's funny too in terms of mentioning before women in horror on Tubi. I was watching kung fu movies on Tubi mostly when I was down in Florida. They had like they subdivide things into interesting categories. You had female directed horror, so that sort of fit in with what was before they were going over here. But they also had a whole found footage section, right, of just like hundreds of found footage horror films. So I think it's interesting that they mentioned that here. So I when found footage is good, it's good. It's really good. So when it's mostly what it is, it's kind of like it's like free verse poetry. Most free verse poetry sucks, but the ones I like are really good. Yeah. So and the same with this. In case you've forgotten, right? We get to the end here. The music, I don't know. I pronounce it Zather. That if you said how do you pronounce this, Zather. I've never heard anybody really mention the name. So, and apparently there's a new album. I like it, the red, white, and blue. So, now I remember the early stuff. I tell you, man, the early stuff was fucking, oh my God. It literally sounded like you took a microphone and put it in hell. The stuff now, though, is I think more electronic now, but still kind of trippy and still with like a black metal aesthetic, I think, but without the guitars. I would have to check it out. This is a good band. I think it's a British band. Just like the 70s kind of rock acid, the 70s kind of rock, not as heavy as Electric Wizard, but they sort of have that like kind of aesthetic. And 6 Feet Under. You know what? I still love the 6 Feet Under cover of Back in Black. Graveyard Hits, I think 2. My buddy has that, where they just all it is a cover of every song on Back in Black, done with Chris Barnes, vocals and the guitar. So I was scored to death. Okay, we'll round this out with something pretty cool. I have Scored to Death 1. It was great book. Yeah, J. Blake Ficarra, right? Scored to Death 2, I don't have yet. But apparently they're making a documentary on it. Right? He's working on a documentary as we speak. That's going to be something to watch. But it's also, as a gift for donors, they're making a vinyl edition with a compilation of horror scores, covers, like Steve Moore, the guy, one of the guys from Zombie. Wojciech, don't even try to pronounce Polish names. And I've heard of this group here. The general retail version to come. Oh, that's cool. And what's interesting about it is that this is why Rue Morgue, I still, I still like to get it. I'll admit it. I didn't want to go one-on-one, just change the instrumentalization of the character. I decided to go to the more ambient side of things, right? Make something closer to a lullaby out of it, right? So he's talking about how, like, the versions of it. Because, some of the people are not around anymore, right? All the old, the Wendy Carlos. Definitely a pioneer in electronic music, I'll say that. So, Ficarra himself also gets in on the action with a cover of Profondo Rosso, right? Deep Red. Well, it's a fucking great song. The whole collection of horror music is complete without some Goblin, right? I told you I'm a huge Goblin fan. As an absolute Goblin fanatic, I was a little disappointed that no one was covering one of their tracks. So, this is the writer now. So I don't know what his musical background is. I'd have to look it up again. I bought a MIDI controller, taught myself how to use Logic Pro. Oh, better than me. Asked my pal, metal drumming icon, Richard Christie. Remember Richard Christie? So, yeah, I know he was on Hoo Hoo Show, but he's amazing drummer on the later Death stuff. So he basically did the music. I had Richard Christie play the drums on a cover of Profondo Rosso, Deep Red. Great drumming in that song. I could imagine. That's awesome. Dude, that's freaking cool. Interesting. Very interesting. So, And Richard also contributed his own very cool, heavy version of something from John Carpenter's The Fog. So, yeah, you know me, man. Like, oh, you're just ripping apart Rue Morgue. I think I'm very nuanced. I think I love horror. So, and there's not a lot of people covered it, but anyway. So, Andrea, give me a number. No, I'm not. Oh, I've just harassed her. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, I don't think we would get on. To be all joking aside, but who knows?